Have you ever looked into the sky and saw something that you just can't explain? Could it have been just an airplane? Maybe it was a meteor, a balloon, a crashing satellite? No, no. You saw an unidentified flying object, almost always abbreviated to just UFO. Now, some people may never believe in UFOs, shelving them as just a myth as there's no true evidence behind them. But to those skeptics, what does this graph tell you? This graph shows that alien sightings from 1990 to 2014 have increased 2,804%. And then what does this statement tell you? 13% of Belgians, like half of them, said 2018 is the year we get aliens on Earth. But if more people are beginning to believe, why are there still so many doubters? Why are so many people still against this theory? What could our government be hiding? How can you explain this, or this, or this, or this, or this, or this, or this? Well, I say, enough questions. We need answers. Come on! Ah! All right, here we go. The main point of all this is to prove what we have seen, what our government could know, and why it's not impossible that there is alien life out there. But first, I just got to clarify this for the Spencers out there. There is a difference between a UFO and an alien. A UFO is an unidentified flying object which almost always carries the alien, and an alien is a living thing that did not come from Earth. So, what we've seen. As presented in the graph earlier, more people are beginning to believe in UFOs, and more people are beginning to see UFOs. So, to the skeptics, listen to a couple of these stories about UFO sightings and tell me that they didn't change their mind just a little bit. The first well-documented UFO sighting happened in 1947. Little Kenny Arnold here was flying his plane in Washington State, and that's smart because it shows that, this is an alien sighting, so it's smart because it shows that aliens are smart enough to fly over the unimportant Washington. And so he's flying his plane and he sees a bright flashing light to his left. He just reacts like, okay, and then 30 seconds later he sees more bright flashing lights. So he quickly tries to run some tests like to disprove what he's seeing, such as taking off his eyeglasses or rolling down his side window, but the lights are still there. The lights pass in front of him and are in and out of his view in less than 2 minutes, and Arnold estimates that these lights travel at about 1,700 miles per hour. Arnold lands the plane and he tells everybody his story. And he actually described these lights as flying saucers, and that's actually where this term became popularized, I believe. Now to November 1989 in Belgium. So, in this month, these large triangular flying objects begin hovering over somewhere in Belgium. And they last until April 1990. And in April 1990, some fighter pilots said, man, these things have been here for 5 to 6 months. I think it's about time, finally, we go check these things out. So they fly up, and they decide to investigate what the objects were. And then they end up chasing the objects away without ever finding out what they were. So they land the planes and they just say, unsolved mysteries, can't explain them. I have an idea of what those objects were. They had to be a UFO. These are two of the more well-known sightings, but they, like us, are not alone. Now, moving on to what our government knows. Now, thanks to our government really hiding everything and things like fluoride, we really don't know a ton about what our government knows. But there is enough out there to draw a conclusion as to what our government could be hiding. So here's what we know about the U.S. government hopes we don't know. And to kick this off, we actually have to go back to another reported sighting. 1947, Roswell, New Mexico. Granddaddy, this is why I am here talking UFOs and I'm saying what needs to be said. So, in Roswell, an object crashed at a ranch near Roswell. A man picks it up and he says that he may have found a flying disc. Government shows up real quick and announces that this was just an Air Force weather balloon. People forget. Then 1978 shows up, and a few researchers want to research this incident just to be sure of what happened here. So they go out and they talk to everyone who knew anything about this event, And in the end, these researchers concluded that at least one alien spacecraft had crashed and alien bodies had been recovered. And the government created a cover-up. That means that the government lied. Why should we believe these researchers when they say that our government lied? Well, the government has lied before. I mean, just look at the My Lai massacre, or Watergate maybe, or what's going on with the NSA. And then, look at this story. Look at this story. Yeah. So, a former Pentagon UFO investigator said, look, I'm not going to come out and directly say it, but I'm just going to say that there's a chance we may not be alone. The investigator, named Luis Elizondo, says that in his time researching UFOs, they found, his team found several objects that were not part of the U.S. military or any foreign inventory that they were aware of. So the government has lied, and somebody within the government has almost admitted to alien life. I mean, at this point, do I even have to bring up Area 51, which the U.S. government doesn't truly recognize, but it still appears on U.S. government maps? Then what's it there for, right? Is that enough proof? No, because I still have one more point. So, alien by definition means that it was a living thing that did not come from Earth. They didn't appear out of thin air. They didn't ride their bikes here. They had to come from some planet that could support life. Now, here is a very fun list of planets that have a similar terrain to Earth and can hold water like Earth. And with those two things, Earth supports life. There's no reason to believe that this guy didn't come from one of those planets. And if you're looking for other signs of life that's only like a couple years away, look in our own solar system. Mars features polar ice caps, has an atmosphere, although it's thin, and has 2 moons. I mean, that's pretty similar to what we've got going on here on Earth. It can support life. And think about this. There's probably some planet out there, probably one that was on that list earlier, that thinks of us as the aliens. I don't know. So, in the end, we don't know much, as the government tries and hides everything from us. But we are aware of the numerous chilling stories of alien sightings. We are aware of what our government could know, and we are aware of the planets that could hold alien life. So the next time you see something suspicious in the sky, know that your eyes aren't playing tricks on you. Just look at the stats. To wrap it all up, we are tired of questions. And with what we know today, despite our government hiding everything, we get closer to the answers.